Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to catch the show live, hang out for a couple hours, have fun back and forth in the chat and all the other fun stuff. But today, before we jump on in, I want to point out my affiliate links. The one we're talking about today is private internet access. This is the VPN that I actually have an account for. So if I need a VPN when I'm out of the office, I go ahead and use this. I'm not a person that is ignorant to the world and all these things that says you absolutely have to push everything through a VPN. It's just pushing the same data down through another company. But there are absolutely good, valid reasons to have a VPN. You need to test something. You need to break out of a geo restriction. You work at a coffee shop and you want to have good internet without having to use your own plan or something. You can have a VPN and use the public Wi-Fi available at the coffee shop. Those are all valid reasons to have one. And with private internet access, you can connect up to 10 devices simultaneously. You can do the whole router hookups, and for $40, you can get an entire year of it. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on into the privacy news for the day. And we have, is this one we have updates? No, I think the next one we have updates. All right, so last week, we actually talked about very silently the amendum to basically the ruling passed through the Senate that said it was renewing some Patriot Act things, and there was an amendment being voted on that would require a warrant to do internet searches, and it lost by one vote. In other words, the amendment does not get added, and the government can still get your search history without a warrant. That's a big deal. But for everyone that thought the end of the world was already nigh, don't forget we do have a three-part system, which means we have to have agreement on the House, we have to have agreement on the Senate, and we have to have agreement on the President's office. And so the Congress is now voting on this week, and chances are the way Congress runs, it will not go through. The reason is that your Republican side is generally a little bit more lenient towards giving government powers what they want in some cases, but not in others. In the case of technology, the Republican Party seems to not know what they're doing at all. I'm not sure the Democratic Party does either. They just take the opposite appointment to every other thing. And so chances are Congress is going to stall this thing out, and we'll have to go back to the table. So we'll probably get enough representation back when it hits back to the Senate, because it has to, for a vote. So the good news is, hey, Congress will probably stall this thing out and send it back to vote in the Senate as well. So if there's any good news with the craziness, and all they're voting on now is, do government officials need a warrant to search your search history? All right. Microsoft warns of massive phishing campaign leveraging Excel 4.0 macros and the COVID stuff. And I've actually think I've seen a few of these land in my inbox on some of my more public-facing emails. And it's like, hey, here's your thing, and it's an Excel macro sheet. I'm like, yeah, right? Okay, person, I don't know. I'll get right to opening this thing up on an insecure Windows machine, too. How's that? We'll just open the whole thing up. We'll log into the computer as administrative root access, and then I'll open up your macro. Now, so they're basically using, and what this one is that they described here is an article going out saying, hey, here's some local statistics. Open this up to see where you're at. You can search by your state, search by your region, search by your town. And then apparently you open it up and it's going to, pwn your system. So I have actually seen, I don't know if you guys let me know if you have as well, I've seen a massive uptick in spam emails and things since all of these lockdowns started to occur. So definitely an interesting thing. All right, so good news for anybody looking to do more video conferencing, wanting to get away from Zoom, is that Brave is putting something together. Basically, this is a Jitsi server on their own servers. And the idea is offering unlimited calls, utilizing their own Jitsi account on their own system. So I believe they said it's just basically web form through their technologies. And as much as I'm not a huge fan of the Brave company, they do have a good product. They seem to be very focused on the privacy aspects, and I have no problem with how their products function as it is. So if you are looking for another video conferencing, this is one to look at, and I might actually start looking at it myself because we do want to drop Google eventually on the on the Thursday shows and things. So this is one that I'm anxious to get testing on. So any of you supporters want to test it out with me, go ahead, let me know. All right. So that's good news coming out. So keep an eye on there. And there's a blog post over there on Brave's website. So you can head on over to their website and see what it is. So basically, it's just Jitsi, which is fine enough. I've used Jitsi a couple times. All right, so a new proposed bill is going to ban micro-targeting of political ads. I'm very happy that this legislator's neck is well protected against COVID. I don't know about the rest of her, but this is how I start seeing everybody wearing their mask. Yeah, I got my mask for no reason at all. You guys see the thing the other day, Fauci's like, the mask really doesn't help for doing anything, but it's become the symbol that we're standing together. The whole world's turned into this monkey show. It's kind of hilarious. Anyway, so the idea here is that, of course, ours is taking this disinformation campaigns. Shut up. All right. The reality is, though, is that I am all for anything that keeps political advertising out of anything. I don't think politicians should be allowed to advertise at all anyway. It certainly leveled the playing field. Let's give us a couple ideas as to what you stand for. Let's go out and have some town hall meetings. Let's have a couple of Q&As, maybe some online sessions or whatever else. But let's stop all political advertising. Just stop it. Just stop it altogether. And then we might actually be able to make some real decisions, not based on marketing strategies, but instead we could probably make some decisions based on real information, like, what somebody actually stands for, rather than this guy's doing an ad against this guy's ads against this guy. You don't know what's true, what's not. I think it's all disinformation. So I would support this. Now, this doesn't prohibit political ads in general. It just eliminates political ads targeting people based on very fine-tuned demographics that Google and Facebook and other ad networks actually use. And so that's definitely something to look at. All right, and another lawsuit against Google. Arizona is suing Google, and they are claiming that it illegally tracked location of Android users. This is actually nothing that's ultimately new. There was another case, I think the other one might have been New Mexico, and or it was an individual town, I forget. It was somewhere else down there in the deserts, suing Google. So what the idea here is that Android devices, Google apps specifically, they can grab your location a variety of different ways. They can grab your location utilizing things such as the IP address. They can do other things to discern your location outside of just your location. Now, what location data is generally defined by in most cases is enabling location services, which is a GPS enabled or GPS, Wi-Fi, etc. put together. And when people are turning off location services, the applications are still grabbing a lot of localized information and utilizing this information to, quote, improve their products, or to make money on ads. Now, it turns out, though, that Arizona has an extra law that they are actually suing under that. And it's a type of fraud ad, and I thought it was listed here. I read a few articles on this. I can't remember if it was in this one or if it was in one of the other ones. But there's a separate fraud law that they have, which basically says, let's see, what was it? No, that was the COPA one. Oh, I can't remember exactly what the law says. Oh, anti-fraud law. So it's just a general anti-fraud law. So Arizona is saying that what they're doing is they are qualifying this as fraud because people have turned off location services, yet Google services has still identified where they are. And so Arizona is saying, hey, that's fraud, $10,000 per violation. And so we start to see that kind of stuff. So for whatever that might be worth, let me know if you think Arizona will succeed or if Google will succeed or if there'll just be some private payout in 10 years and we'll never hear about this again, more likely. And on to our feature for the day. Facebook will verify identities for suspiciously popular accounts. It's a little vague term. Basically, I read this as, hey, Facebook wants to double down and collect more identity documents, but don't worry, those identity documents will not be in your profile, and they are absolutely going to be kept private. Oh, that was a funny joke. Tell me another one, Mark Zuckerberg. Or is that Mark Schmuckerberg? So they've been verifying identity for a while, and so there's like stamp out misinformation requests. So if you happen to manage a page, so I want to spin up my little Facebook page or something, and I wanted to go ahead and manage that. Now they're like, oh, well, we need to verify your identity for the page. And to me, I'm like, yeah, no. At a point in time, a social media company wants me to send them my driver's license. You can pick my favorite digit to see, yeah, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. I'm not sending my ID to a social media company. No, not happening. And so now they're wanting to say, hey, if your account gets over what our idea is somewhat popular or suspiciously popular or whatever else, they want to verify your ID. So even if you were grandfathered in, you've been managing your page for a while, everything's going just fine, they can now come up and go, hey, we want to see that ID now. And so with all that being said, Facebook is now scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to get your ID. They say here they will reduce the distribution of viral posts if an account either has an ID that doesn't match the linked account or declines to verify ID. So if you have a post that is naturally popular, they're just going to squelch it, which completely goes against all of the idea of what social media is supposed to be anyway. Until you identify through the page publisher authorization, they said IDs would be stored securely. Here's a thought, Facebook. Why don't you verify them and dump the data? Have a talk button that says, yeah, we verified. You don't need to store nothing. This is the problem, people. This is the problem. We need to stop being such goats and we're like, Facebook, save me, here's my ID. And then we're storing it in their systems, storing it. There is no earthly reason under the sun, under any circumstance, one way or another, that Facebook needs to store anybody's identification. See it, verify it, check mark, done. That's it. Those are my thoughts about what Facebook needs to do. Let me know your thoughts about this one and the other stories here. And let me know in the comments down below. Follow the channel if you so like. Give me some likes, give me some comments, or some dislikes if you like, and whatever else. Thanks for coming along, and hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.